Yeah, Brando, he's better at emails than I am. He was like, "Did you get my email?" And I was like, first I said to him, I was like, "Did you get my email earlier?" And he's like, "Did you check and see if I replied?" And I was like, "No." And
Awesome.
and then today he's like, "Did you get my email?" And I'm like, "No." Or I said, "I haven't checked it yet." But he mentioned how great his email replying skills are, saying, "How dare you doubt my email skills?" And I was like, "Well, sir, mine are lacking at best."
Yeah, I
So
hear you. I hear you. Mine are horrible. Mine are fucking
Uh,
horrible, dude. I mean, I'm at it may be a week till I check that thing.
no. What you said to
I'll
me is you're
admit it.
like, did you get my email? And I said, how dare you insult my email receiving skills?
oh, I
Right.
was thinking
Because I don't really
replying.
have to do anything to
I
receive
get
it.
it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. See how dumb I am? I didn't even catch that, man. That's hilarious.
See, mine doesn't notify me. I have to like go to my email for some reason to like make it like upload to show me new ones. So that's why I don't fucking see anything all the time.
Well,
Yeah.
shit.
Anywho, whatever. Let's
All
talk
right,
about some
guys.
metal.
Yeah, I know. Well, here we go. The Metal Block, episode 8. And how exciting is that, guys? I was super stoked to see each week whenever we have a new number that we get to put out. And it's exciting because, as always, I got Scary Greg and Brutal Brando with me. And Scary Greg is actually showing up today as his alter ego, Mr. Literus, Mike Literus. And
Mike
so
Literus.
for Mike Literus. So if any of you guys want to give him a shout out, sometime, make sure and say Mike Literus. Hello.
Yeah, do we want to explain that? So when we join this podcast to do that, we have to enter our name, and so each week I come up with a new fun, exciting new name. Just to be clear there.
Right, yeah, because Scary Greg was just not cool enough. So each week
No.
we get to have the pleasure of a new name, and it's a surprise for all of us. Every single
What
one of
was
us.
that? Hugh Janus was one of them.
Uh-huh.
Jack Niehoff.
Yeah. Seymour Butts.
Seymour Butts. Yeah. No, Mike Litters. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had a few, and we're having a lot of fun with that, like many things. The great thing is we're still here every week to talk to you about the best metal that's out there. And even if anything isn't going on, or that we know is going on, or that we've heard yet, we're going to always have something that we're going to be able to recommend that you listen to, because we're listening to it all the time, day and night. Scary Greg, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How's it going on the Metal Block? I don't know what that meant. That didn't make any sense, but yo, what's going on?
Oh,
nice,
that's perfect.
nice.
That is the intro of intros. So, Brutal Brando.
I was like, what's up, blockheads?
Oh, yeah. So
There.
every day, everybody, if you get to check out social media, Brandon's created a great Facebook page for the Metal Block. And one thing he does every morning is he does his morning commute, where he puts out an album that he's just listened to in his morning commute. It's a great chance to get on there and see some of the stuff that we're listening to, and maybe even get a jump on some of the things that we might even be talking about. You never know. We might be talking about one of those things. So we try to share it on X too, but that's been awesome, Brandon. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your morning commute and how you came up with that?
Well, it's a long drive every morning. I'm always listening to something. I figure, hell, might as well share it with the world. Maybe somebody else will like it, Gives me a chance to find new music and see what else is out there. So I figure why not share the experience, and anyone else that wants to tune in, so to speak, and like check out what I'm listening to. Maybe it's something new for you and you'll like it. If not, oh well.
Well, tell everybody what you recommended today.
Cytotoxin, Nuclear Earth came out in 2020. Wonderfully groovy tech death out of Germany, and it's one of my favorite albums. It's really good. If you haven't checked it out, you should.
That's an amazing album. It was like, what year did that come out?
2020.
2020. Yeah, that was like all I listened to that entire year.
Yeah. 2020 was a good year. I think Benighted came out with Scene Repressed also. I think that's what it was called.
Right.
Yeah, there was some good stuff that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
Good year.
Good year, and you're right. That is a really cool album, Brando. Appreciate you sharing that, man. Everybody gets a chance every morning to try something different, and they just need to be checking out that Facebook page for one, because that's where a lot of our motivation for even what we're going to be talking about kind of comes from. So, speaking of things we've been listening to. One of the things we had talked about was the album Awaken the Ancients by Hatred Reigns. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check that out. What'd y'all think?
Go ahead, Brando.
Well, I listened to it all day today. It's really good. They're out of Canada, and it's just some technical death metal, man, but they do it really well. I picked up hints of, kind of reminded me of Spawn and Possession. I heard a couple riffs that reminded me of Aborted. The vocals kind of remind me of Origin a little bit, but some of it's fast, but not too fast. It's got just the right amount of technicality to it. It's got some good groove and rhythm. So it's pretty creative. I like it. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, it's definitely. It's good tech death. It's definitely got the Canadian stamp on it. They opened up shows for like Arcspire and Cryptopsy, so that makes a lot of sense. It was good. I like a lot of the speed picking riffs. And then wasn't like too much noodling, and solid drumming was impressive for sure. Vocalist kind of was going for that speed vocals on a lot of it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I kind of thought there was a little hint of like Ollie from Arcspire in there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. You can tell it's definitely Canadian influence.
Yeah.
Man,
Zoomy, what do you think?
Well, the drumming is one thing that Greg mentioned, and I totally caught the drumming. I mean, I thought it was pretty fast, pretty insane. And I was actually going to mention, I think it's The Depths of the Unknown. It might even be the beginning of that song. It's like the third track of the album. Man, the double bass in that is so fast. I mean, I can't even like make the sounds with my mouth as fast as he's like making those drums. And you can usually always kind of like you can always like do your own little version of blast beats or whatever, but man, the double bass, the way that song starts is pretty insane. Yeah, I think all those comparisons you said were very fair. One thing that I noticed was they had some cool samples in it. It wasn't like funny samples, but it was really well placed samples that just kind of added to the mood of the album. And I always like it when bands place their samples the right way. That's one thing that through this podcast, I'm getting to see even more and more. Some of the bands that were doing samples that I may not have really known, and I start to analyze those a little bit differently. And I think like, does that even really fit in the song? And I think we talked about them with Party Cannon, and with Party Cannon, it didn't really matter because for me, it was like each song is like a brand new present, It doesn't have to really carry a theme or anything. It's just got to be fun, as we like to say from time to time here. But yeah, I like the samples that they did. I like how it started out. I think it was like, you were burning hell, and then it was
yeah, the album started out with a good one for sure. And I'm glad that like bands are starting to really use 6 samples again, because it was such an intense fad there for a little while. Like every band, every song was a sample, and it almost seems like people kind of got away from it because I started hearing like in the scene like people hating on all too many samples. And I'm glad that I'm glad to hear 6 samples because I love them. I love a good sample.
I do too, but you're absolutely right. What happened is there were just too many for a while, and then it got to where like no samples in our album at all.
You didn't hear any for like a decade.
Yeah, and now we're getting to hear some that come back, and that's always really cool. So
a well-placed sample is fucking, in my opinion, gold, man. I love it.
Well, it adds to the masterpiece of the song. Every time every one of these bands that puts out a song that we're listening to, they have this sound in their head that they're trying to get out on, for lack of a better word, tape, so that then the world can hear it. Yeah.
It's sick. I mean, yeah, once they can actually give the full picture like that, definitely adds the element.
Right.
And so, in our band, just getting ideas of what samples to use and all that. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, but it adds
to
watching
the song. Movie. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe like watching a movie, or like hear something on some old, I don't know, maybe some old record or something. I don't know, just anything, and you're like, that is gonna be a sick sample. It's just so cool to plan that out.
Right. Yeah, them whenever you hear them, and you're like, oh, I want to use that. And it's actually really cool whenever you use one from a movie. This is just my opinion, but you use one from a movie, if you are, that it's hard to recognize what movie it's coming from, but it's still really cool. And you're like, what movie is that? And so you're like trying to figure it out. And it just adds a little mystery to the song too.
Absolutely.
It's cool. It's cool. So did you like those samples, Brandon?
Yeah, I did. I really like the one they opened with. Just kind of sets the mood real quick, and I like those real quick stops that they do. You know,
They do it. I
within the
was gonna
middle of
say,
it.
yeah, I was gonna say the starting and stopping, which is
Mhm.
something I've mentioned that I do like. If it's
Starting and stopping. I love that term.
yeah, I mean, but when it's done the right way, and it adds just a little bit more color to the song, I
Yeah.
really enjoy that, and it makes it punchy because it's stop, go, and I love that punchiness, especially whenever you're talking about your brutal tech death or any kind of brutal metal or technical metal. I really like it when bands have the control to be able to like stop and then go again, and a lot of times it might just be for them. This is just something I've thought before. Like, is that an opportunity because maybe it's going into the next riff is just kind of weird, but a stop makes more sense. And so we're going to put a stop here. And then in the end, you're like, wow, that was really cool how y'all placed that there. But looking at it from the band's point of view, they're like, yeah, well, that was just the transition we came up with from riff 1 to riff 2.
That was
I
just
also
where I
think,
needed to readjust my grip on the pick.
Right. That's exactly. There you go, Brandon.
it definitely adds like an element, like a powerful punch, like type, like boom, like when it comes back in and hits, like when it's done right. I mean, yeah, it can be used for various reasons, obviously.
We talked about Suffocation doing that and how they had some songs where it was almost like their timing was a little bit off, but the way they did it, it worked and it sounded really good. Not the timing was off. I'm saying that wrong, but the timing that they used on their start and stop didn't sound natural, but it still
On the pause.
yeah, but it was still really, really good whenever you're like listening to it. You're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that stop there. But anyway, I'm kind of babbling about it. But my point is there's a good place to use that in some songs. And when done right, it just adds to the masterpiece that they're trying to create and hopefully gets that sound out that they have in their head the way they want it to, because usually it turns out pretty good, especially when we're talking about bands like Suffocation in this case, even Hatred Reigns. I'd never given them a chance, but man, they're really pretty good. Another shout out to the Canadians.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Another little note about this album, I was reading on their Bandcamp that it's a concept album, so the whole thing is a story.
Yeah, I could see that. What's it called? Like Awaken the Ancients?
Yeah, Awaken
Yes.
the Ancients.
Yeah, so I could see just with that title, I kind of would think,
Yeah.
even
So
hearing that, it's going to tell
yeah.
some crazy story of like some older.
Well, here's a short like synopsis of it. This is coming from their Bandcamp. Everybody, it's the album's narrative follows a protagonist grappling with oppressive forces, leading to a summoning of the ancients who rise to liberate the tormented from their prolonged suffering. Plunged into an endless abyss, the tormented emerge upon a desolate shore, surrounded by aimless souls. In a quest for liberation, the damned are ferried across the Charon, who must navigate treacherous plains, confronting challenges from demons above and lurking waters below. Their odyssey takes them across the enigmatic river Styx, lured by the ancients towards Necropia, where ultimate judgment awaits.
Ah,
Nice.
Yeah,
no,
that's cool.
that's actually
Nice.
really cool. It's kind of, I was gonna say, it sounds like the Odyssey whenever you were saying it, like
Yeah.
the song and the book or whatever. I was really thinking of like the Symphony X song, the Odyssey, but it reminded me of that. And then you used the word Odyssey, and it's kind of cool. It's like the guy who's the Charon is the one who's taking the dead across he's like the usher, the one who like ushers them
Yeah.
across to the afterlife, I guess. And there's a lot of cool mythology about the Sharon, and that's probably not even the same word in all the different beliefs. But some people believe you got it, like they used to put the coins on the eyes.
Yeah.
Some people believed you had to have the money with you or you couldn't pay for the ferry
Right.
in the afterlife. And so that was kind of the purpose of putting the coins on the eyes. I think aside from the fact it kept your eyes closed, but anyway, that's
Yeah,
cool, Brandon.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
I also saw that they had an article in Decibel magazine about them and the release of this album. I guess it came out on December 1st,
Right.
is what I was seeing on some of their Facebook posts. But yeah, that's pretty sick. They had a nice write up in Decibel, and more people should check them out. So if you're listening to this podcast, you should Definitely check out Hatred Reigns. They don't they didn't even boost up those plays on the old streaming sites.
Yeah,
And,
we
I just want to see. It's cool to see an underground band do well.
you're right.
Yeah, on
And
Metal Archives, they are unsigned. They're an
yes, I
independent
was gonna
band.
say that.
Yeah,
That's right.
you can tell they're a newer band for sure.
Yeah, they are looks like independent, Brandon. So just like
Mhm.
I was gonna say that too. So that's awesome. We've talked about a couple of bands here recently that really aren't signed, which is really cool to the times that we're in because anybody can actually get out there and make some really good
Dude,
music.
yeah, you can still you can go on all sorts of tours, even if you're self-managed and self-promoted and all that stuff. It's crazy to see what some bands do, not even getting a record label. And obviously that, to get to the next level, they're gonna end up signing with somebody. But it's just crazy to see bands go and sign and like get on all these sick tours, and have all these albums and merch and all that. And it's like, damn, y'all are doing that by yourselves.
Yeah,
Right.
one band that sticks out to me that does that, and obviously they're goofy. We saw them in 2016, Greg, but Psycho Stick.
Oh yeah, see exactly.
Dude,
Yeah.
they are everywhere. They were putting on during COVID, they were putting on like weekly concerts and doing shows and events. They've got tons of killer merch,
Smart.
and they do it all independently. All their albums are independent. I've always respected that. Their songs are funny. They're good too, but
Yeah, I always see them like selling out these packed little venues in Europe. Man, they do really well in Europe. Little Psycho
yeah.
Stick. Yeah, see, they're always touring over there.
Yeah, that's real cool.
Europeans like some wild stuff, man. That's right up their alley.
Oh man, they just have seas of people whenever you see shows. It's just people
It's
so
like
much, and you're like,
hundred
where are all
thousand
these?
metalheads, and yeah, it's crazy, dude. I want to go
Yeah.
to what is that one? It's not. Is it not walking or what are those
Oh,
big
Yeah.
festivals?
yeah. I know what you're talking. I'm sorry. I
Hellfest.
can't think.
Whacking, the
Whacking,
Hellfest, yeah,
Yeah, there's
whacking.
Whacking
Whacking and
too, open
Hellfest.
air.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, that I want to go to that so bad. Just
I
one
think
time, just one
I think
time.
Whacking's like one of the oldest festivals like that, that has been ongoing every year. And that's really cool. I guess lastly, about Hatred Reigns is that makes sense about the story, Brandon, now that you brought that up, because I thought the songs actually flowed really well throughout the beginning to the end, almost like they were placed in the right spot. And a
Yeah.
lot of times I just, give that credit to the band for really thinking through the order of their songs. But you saying that it's a concept album telling a story, well, it makes sense it was going in that order, and it worked. I thought they did really good.
Nice.
Yeah, me too.
Was there anything else that you guys got a chance to listen to this week?
No, what about you, Brandon? Anything new on your radar?
Yeah. Hideous Divinity actually posted this and shared it, and I shared it. It was one of my morning commute albums. Wretched Fate came out
Wretched
like
Fate.
earlier this year. They came out with an album called Carnal Heresy. It's pretty sick. It's pretty awesome. I was digging that this week. And I did go back and listen to that Catholic a little bit more, and that's going to be going into like my regular rotation, I think.
Is it not just Catholic?
I don't know if it's Catholic or Catholic. I don't know what it is,
I've
but
heard
it's
people say
good.
Catholic before.
Okay, I like Catholic anyway. It sounds good. But either way, the album is pretty dang good, man. I was really digging it the other night.
I
So
forgot you were talking about them. I need to check them out really bad. And I also saw you shared that Hans Grossman song, that new song. It's like
yes,
super
Right.
necrophagous, my lord. That was
Yes.
like ridiculous.
yeah, that's
Is he
gonna be
doing all that?
great. No, I think he's got some guest folks on there, but
Okay.
I've been reading about it a little bit, and I guess he's got a new album coming out, and it's supposed to be like a tribute to a bunch of the bands he's played with, like Blotted Science, um, the Necrophagist, Obscura. So like he's making songs
Sort
in
of like
the
those
like
bands.
to basically mimic those bands as a
Well,
tribute.
that one mimicked the hell out of Necrophagous Stab
Yeah,
Wound. It was like, I mean, there were
if
so
I'm
many parts I was like, wait a minute here.
right, even the vocals sounded like it, dude. I was like,
Oh,
holy shit, this is great. And
it was great.
the thing I saw is I think there's going to be 3 songs on the album that are like necrophagous style. So
Sick.
yeah,
Dude, people are
You,
going to go
it,
nuts over that.
yep.
I think it even said in the video that they posted, I think it was like new necrophagus, or is it? You know?
Yeah, question mark.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
well, it's not
hilarious.
April, so is this real?
That's
Right.
hilarious.
You know, every April Fools,
Mm-hmm.
people posted about necrophagus, new
Yeah.
I
necrophagus.
know. I know.
So,
It's a thing.
something else that came out last week on Friday, Osaya came out with a new one. I haven't really heard them before, but I started checking that out. The album's called Kairos. That sounded pretty cool too. I'm gonna check that out some more.
Sick.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was actually looking up, you know how I'm always trying to keep up with some of the stuff we're talking about, because I'll hear about a band and I'll realize, oh, I don't know where they're from, or, you know, anything more about them than maybe what we've talked about this week. And I was actually looking at the Wretched Fate, and I didn't realize they were from Sweden.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and they've been, is that Sweden or Canadian? Like where do they do that too?
No, I don't know. I thought Brendan was kind of like saying that in a Swedish accent, so I said it too. I don't know.
Maybe
That's
it's
probably not.
Swede.
That definitely sounds Canadian though.
It did. But they've been active since 2016. And this was actually their second full length. Their first one was released in 2019. Did you say that?
No.
Okay.
I checked this one out because Hideous Divinity shared it and was like,
Right.
go check out this awesome Swedish band. So I did.
Yes.
Because I do
Yeah.
what Hideous Divinity tells me to.
It's smart.
Yeah.
It's a wise thing to do. They know their
Yeah.
stuff. And I've seen
Hey
that
man,
they've actually been doing some.
when good bands share something and say it's good, you know, it's probably good. So
Yeah, you
go
better
check
just
it out.
take their word for it and check it out. I
Yeah.
noticed that Hideous Divinity was also doing some touring around, and that was cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
We're
they
at
seem
the
to be
U.S.
playing a lot. Mostly
Oh
Europe.
no. Yeah, it's all Europe. I think they were in Greece or something last I saw. I could be wrong, but that's what I feel like I remember them saying.
I believe they're from
Nice.
Rome. I know they're from Italy.
Right. They are Italian
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So here's something that's kind of funny. We talked about Exmortus on the last show, and that got me to where I wanted to listen to them. And I was checking out Slave to the Sword, which that is not a new album. I'm trying to remember when that one came out. I'll come back to that. But man, that's a real fun album. I forgot how much fun that one was to listen to. I even called up my brother and I was like, "Hey, if you hadn't listened to these guys, check them out." You know, my brother, he's not as much of a purist as we are with the metal genre. He likes really just a lot of different stuff. He likes a lot of the progressive stuff, but he really appreciates whenever the progressive sound crosses over with the metal. And I was excited to share that with him. And I've listened to that album before, but I just forgot how cool it was, you know?
Oh.
And one thing is I totally heard some Children of Bodom in it after re-listening to it again, which at first I was kind of like, I'm not sure. But after listening to it again, I was like, oh yeah, I can definitely hear that.
That's cool. Yeah, that one came out in 2014.
Okay, I was almost gonna say 2016, but I knew that didn't feel right. So
Man,
yeah.
the only one I've listened to is their new one that came out this year, Necrophony, which I love it. That song "Storm of Strings" is killer.
Yeah, I think that's the one I checked out.
Well, I just wanted to bring them up again and reiterate because I know we talked about them, but I was like, man, people need to be checking them out if they haven't.
Yeah,
So they're a
good
great
deal.
band, and they'll keep your attention throughout the entire album. And the vocals really fit with that kind of technical, progressive. I think you said neoclassical death thrash is what we came up with last time. Yeah,
Something like that.
I forgot. Yeah, holy moly.
Neoclassical tech death, thrashy tech death.
Yeah, tech death thrash or something. But yeah, so it's really
Not
good stuff.
crab metal, everybody.
Not Brandon's favorite.
Yeah, it's
Crab
not
metal.
crab metal, but I still like it. The universe has
Brandon
told
loves
me.
crab metal.
We totally forgot to pause for our sponsor. We have unofficial sponsor of Clearly Canadian. I don't know if you guys remember, but I think Brandon promised he was going to try some this week.
Yeah, I didn't make it. I didn't make it to the store.
He said he was going to
That's too
have
bad.
to. I thought
I say
this
a
was
lot of things, but I will.
next week, everybody, I want you guys to show up so that we can celebrate Brandon finally getting an opportunity to try the clearly Canadian sparkling water. It comes from the tundras of the north, the melting of the icebergs that supply the rivers and streams and lakes of planet Earth. And you guys get to drink it because it starts in Canada, and that's where they bottle it. So get your
$5. $5 for 12 ounces of joy.
That's right. It's 11 ounces, Greg.
Is it really? Sorry, you're gonna Sprite.
It is 11
Oh,
ounces. I thought to myself, I was like, surely it's at least a can, like a can of soda, but no,
It's
it was
not.
1 ounce shy. So they were like, we're keeping our 12th ounce.
Oh man.
You can only
That's
sparkle
terrible.
so much water at once.
Yeah, well, the icebergs melt slow, so you can only grab so much at a time.
Well, I'm working on that, guys. I just sit in my truck with it idling all the time, just so we can try to get some more clearly Canadian.
You should. Cattle Decaf will be proud of you.
Yeah, trying to warm up the earth.
Yeah, that morning commute.
That hour, yeah. That's
I'm
good
usually
CD listening time.
6:10.
Hey, I tried a Japanese soda tonight for what it's worth. It was called a Shira Kiku here. It was a carbonated ramen drink. It was strawberry. It was crazy. Have you ever seen those drinks where you have to like pop the marble that's in the top of it and like shoots down into it? That's what I had. I had one of those.
All right.
I went and got some Asian food tonight, some Chinese food, and they had them there, and I was like, I gotta get one. I gotta try.
Did you say it was alcoholic?
No, it was not. It was not. It was just like a soda.
So Guinness Guinness has some sort of widget in there. I think it's their draft beers.
There's a couple different dark beers that do that.
Yeah, and then you like crack it open. It has something that drops in there and spins. It may not be exactly the same, but yeah, it like mixes the carbonation or something the right way.
It's random, but the Starbucks Nitro coffees do have those in there too.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Boom. The more you know.
The more you know. So,
sorry, I didn't mean to spin off here too much, but I was really excited about that soda tonight.
But the point of the conversation is to not get Starbucks Nitro and to actually get clearly Canadian sparkling water.
Clearly Canadian.
Here's to you, clearly Canadian.
So Greg, how excited are you to go see Kublai Khan?
Oh, dude, I'm stoked. I was gonna actually bring that up here if you didn't. Kublai Khan tour. Looks like it was. I don't know if it started in March, but I definitely know that it was in April. It was April 7th, maybe, that they're coming to Lawrence. But yeah, it's the band Tsunami. Yeah. They're headlining. Kublai Khan is headlining, but the band that's gonna be playing right before him, Tsunami. I mean, it's just like the most ridiculous footage you'll ever see in your life of concerts. I mean, these kids are like they for some reason let these kids run all over the stage, and they're doing front flips and doing the craziest crap I've ever seen in my life in a crowd. And it looks way too dangerous for me. I'm way too old to be dealing with all that. But I would go and stand in the back. It's a really cool theater. It's got some like raised seating in the back that my old ass will be standing on. But yeah, that'll be great, dude. Them playing for a full like hour or whatever, like headlining set time would be completely insane.
And Judiciary was the one that they played with 200 Stab Wounds and Frozen Soul here.
Oh yeah. How were they?
And man, they were great. They were awesome.
Okay, good.
They're the reason that I saw this posted is they shared it, and I saw it on the old social media.
Sick.
Yeah. So
well, they've been on some big tours. Good Lord, and this one will be off the chain. I guarantee you, most of the dates will sell out. I mean that the band Tsunami draws crazy. It's like they're really popular on like TikTok and like social media for younger people. They're all political and super mad at the police. They're very, very angry at the police. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting crowd for sure. A lot of windmills, a lot of spin kicks, a lot of crowd killing. So again, I will be in the back.
Yeah. Don't blame you.
Super excited.
So they're a band, Kublai Khan, or did I say that right?
Yep, Kublai Khan. TX.
Yeah, so they're from Sherman, Texas, which for those of you who aren't up to speed on all your geography, that is just south of the Oklahoma border, just south of the Red River, I think. and that's real close to my stomping grounds too, or all of our stomping grounds, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's really cool that a lot of these bands like Stabbing, really awesome. They're from out of Texas. I love hearing these southern metal bands because most of the time, whenever you hear about all these new bands or maybe even the originals, that's all like New York, or California, but mostly like that East Coast I hear about. So, or Canada now.
Yeah.
Canada seems to be another hot spot.
If I'm not mistaken, Frozen Soul is from Dallas.
Oh, are they?
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
So that's awesome. Shout out to another Texas band.
Yeah, Kublai Khan, that's perfect for them to be from Texas though, because like a couple of my buddies that are like obsessed with them, they literally call them our generation or the current generation's Pantera, just because like all their riffs are like fight riffs and it's all tough guy, and like don't fuck with me music, pretty much just like filling some of those lyrics were.
Right.
And it is just like some hard hitting. I mean, it's just their whole slogan, like on the back of this hoodie that I have, is just less is more, and you can really see it in their music playing style. There's not a lot of blast beats. You have to listen to it. It's just like just straight to your face riffs and super simple stuff, but it just hits so hard, and their crowd and fans are just absolutely ridiculous. Super cool though. Like the whole entire venue's chanting. They'll do the breaks just like you're saying, the start and stops, and they'll do that with the music whenever even it's not in the song sometimes, and the whole crowd is just word for word the whole venue. So super fun, super fun. Glad you brought those guys up.
Hell yeah,
that's really good.
I missed them with Dying Fetus and the Acacia Strain. No, that's wrong. They were not on that tour. Never mind. I was thinking the Despised Icon there. Sorry. I saw them with who did I see them with? Oh yeah, The Art is Murder in Lawrence, and it was super cool, super fun.
Awesome, man. The thing I saw said part 1 when they posted that tour, so maybe part 2 will be in the summer, and maybe they'll come my way and I can go check them out.
No, that's probably what they're doing. You're right.
I'm hoping that's what Exmortus is doing too, because I saw a post. Somebody was complaining they had no Texas dates, and they said not for this phase. So I was like, okay, maybe they'll be around too.
Said, hold your horses, partner.
Yeah.
We'll make it down there one day. I'll send you to our group text. I'll send a few of my favorite jams, Kublai Khan. See what you guys think.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Everybody needs to be checking them out for sure. There's somebody that's just came across my radar recently. And you mentioned the drumming, Greg. I'm a lover of the drumming too. And as great as blast beats are, it is still really, really cool to hear somebody who's got a little bit different style, who's just banging the hell out of those drums.
Yeah, and he pounds them. It's like a 4-piece drum set, and like it's just super cool to see him play because I mean, it just sounds so perfect for what they're doing. Just as straightforward. He uses double bass and all that, but it's not like super fast. You'll see when I send you the songs. It's it fits, and it's just cool to see a band kind of do what something different for me at least. It's just like not the exact recipe as everybody, but it works. It works for them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can travel a little further north and go see that show with you. That'd be cool.
Hey, man. Yeah, it would be. It'd be fun to make a weekend out of it.
Yeah, no kidding.
If it's on a weekend.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. That's all right, though. Maybe we can figure something out.
Yes, sir. It'd be cool. Maybe one day we'll go down and visit Brandon and see a metal show down in Houston.
Oh, that will happen. That will be happening.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen.
Just so you know, April 7th, the Lawrence show that's a Sunday.
So
it is a weekend.
Yeah. Technically.
Yeah, Sunday, Monday. That sounds like I got to take a Monday off.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. They're going to hate me, actually, at work. We're doing a core system conversion on April 5th, so that might not work.
Yeah, that's metal.
Yeah, I know, right? Thanks.
Sounds it, core system
conversion. I mean, the name, it just sounded, you said core,
We are core system invasion.
Yeah. Regulation Z.
It'd be the name of one of these new songs you're writing, Brendan.
This one's called Income Taxes.
That's right.
I told Brandon that we should name a song or band Regulation Z because I heard about it. It's a regulation in banking, and I was like, I know that sounds boring, but I thought Reg Z sounded kind of cool. And anyway, that's why he got a little bit of a chuckle when I said Regulation Z.
I get it now.
I know, right? I know.
You dorks.
Yeah. So what else, guys?
Next.
I feel like it was a quiet week other than that Hans Grossman thing coming out.
Yeah, pretty quiet week. I mean, there's got to be something racy happening soon.
Right. What I was going to do, just real fast, because it's always a really good source. And this is actually where we mentioned this a few weeks back about the weekly injection on Metal Injection, which again, we're not affiliated with Metal Injection. It's just another metal source out there. And that's where I actually saw that the Hatred Reigns album had came out. And what made me want to start listening to it is the good thing was, it's like we said, it tells you, the genres and everything, the type of music that it actually is. And I was going to glance through that and see if we had anything new coming out. But it does mention the Kairos album, the Osiah Kairos album. So Brandon is already ahead of the Metal Injection list that, I was going to go and look up. So there you have it. That's one of the big ones that's on there.
To quote a Greg I know, boom.
Or a Mike
There you go.
Litteris.
Mm-hmm. Is that list that has a whole bunch of different releases on it?
Yeah, it really does.
Mhm.
It doesn't.
I was
it
going to
doesn't
ask
stick-
you where you heard when you texted us about Hatred Reigns. I was going to ask you where you heard of that band, because when I looked them up, I was just curious. They're a smaller band, but now it makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I saw it on here because each week as we're trying to find new stuff to listen to, I was like, well, let's just check this out because it came out, and I'm really glad, that we gave it a shot. There really isn't any technical death metal that's been coming out. I know that's kind of what we stick to, but here lately, it's really just been a lot of like hardcore or metalcore. That's a lot of the stuff I've seen. There's been a lot of black metal, which I'm really out of practice on my black metal knowledge. I feel like I have fallen behind big time, on a lot of that. There's a couple of bands that I've been checking out in that regard, but none of them that I kind of recognize on this list. So there is one death metal. It's a doom metal band, and it's called Dusk. And they've got an album dropping this week. So if you're into doom metal, you might check them out. We haven't had a chance to listen to them, but I'm probably going to give them a chance. I like a little bit of the doom metal every now and then.
Well, the stuff you're talking
yeah.
about that they post that came out on the 1st, right?
Are you sure? Because this says the week of the 8th.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. The only thing I see, like that Osiah thing came out.
They posted on their
last
Facebook
week.
a bunch about the album releasing on December 1st.
It might have, Brandon. It just says here, the headline says new releases from Health, Porcupine Tree, and more out today, 12/8.
Yeah, it's
All
just probably
right.
on the list of like that's their weekly date of their article,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
it's probably just
Cool.
on their I hate to say it again, on their radar. I keep saying that word.
No, you're good, because Brandon, that's a good point. The date that I said might not have been correct. I might have just been dealing with the issue date pretty much.
Yep. That's
So-
good. That's good. If anybody needs new metal, that's a good source. Go check it out.
Yeah, most definitely. So anyway, everybody out there, they need to be checking out Brandon's Daily Commute and the other stuff he's sharing on Facebook. Anything we got on Twitter, I'll try to share. We're definitely getting the episodes out as quickly as we can.
They're coming.
Keep on a coming. I was telling Brandon I'm proud of some of my descriptions on the episodes. Like, there's a couple of lame ones, but for the most part, I try to be creative on that. So, yeah, I try to paint us, as like three guys that are in this apocalypse, like searching for the best of metal, and so that's what we do every week or every day of the week.
Make it kind of metalocalypsy.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's cheesy, but it's fun. I like to my way of pretending still.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean, heck of an episode. I know that, a little bit different because we didn't have any shows to talk about this time, but we got to talk about some really good albums, and there's a lot of cool stuff that's still coming out every week. So stick with us, hang with us. We'll try to talk about all of it if we can, which we can't. But if you happen to have something out there that you really want to hear about, or something that you just haven't heard us ever talk about, reach out to us. Let us know what you want to hear, and we'll do our best to give that band or that group or those songs the credit they deserve.
Yep, at the Metal Block on Facebook and X, right?
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, if there isn't anything else, I guess we'll just leave it at that. Everybody have a great week. Thanks again for joining us. The Metal Block, over and out.
Later.
See you, blockheads.